A lot of people misunderstand what the Bible is all about, and they're looking for religion, and maybe they're finding it. I think they're finding misinterpretations of a lot of things in Scripture. And I have people ask me, like, why do you talk about business? Why do you talk about success? And are you one of these prosperity gospel preachers and all the rest of that? Like, I don't even know what that. Like, I don't ever assume that I know what somebody means when they ask me a question. I assume that I don't know what they mean, and then I get clarification, and I can better answer the question. In fact, I was at this conference in Los Angeles, and somebody asked me what I do. I said, I teach business owners how to scale their business, and I teach business based on biblical principles. Oh, okay. Are you a Christian? What do you mean when you say Christian? Because some people think they're a Christian because they were born in America. Some people think they were a Christian because their dad was a pastor. Some people think they're... So if you tell me what you mean when you say Christian, then I can better answer that question. But if you don't tell me what you mean, I'm not going to assume I know what you mean and then say yes or no based on that. Anyway. But today, I want to talk to you about something that maybe you've thought about. Well, if you've listened to me for any length of time, I'm pretty sure you've thought about it. But maybe you've never thought about it. And that is why God loves success so much. You ever think about that? Why God loves success so much. The Bible is the greatest success book ever written. In fact, if there's ever been another success book written, and it had some principles in it that worked, those principles are based on Bible. So, I might as well start at the beginning. I might as well start at the beginning. Because here's what it says in the beginning. It says, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, notice this now. And God said, let there be light. Guess what the next thing says? And there was light. Then it says, and God saw the light, that it was good. Why was it good? Because God said, let there be light, and there was light. So God said it, and then it happened, and then God saw that it was good. God said, it was so. God saw that it was good. Can y'all see that? Okay. And it's not like this just happened once. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and the evening and morning were the first day. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which are above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. And God said, let the waters under heaven be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. And God, do you see what's happening? And God said, and it was so. And God said, and it was so. So, before I even go any further, let me say this. If I'm saying the Bible is the greatest success book ever written, and if I'm saying this is why God loves success so much, I must define success. What do I mean when I say success? I believe that success is discovering the purpose for my life, developing myself for that purpose, and deploying myself in that purpose. If I do anything else, I'm not successful. I might do something else and become famous, but I won't be successful. I might do something else and get rich, but I won't be successful. I might do something else and become popular, but I won't be successful. I can only be successful if I do the thing for which I was created. God said, let there be light, and there was light, and God saw the light that was good. God made the sun to shine. The sun shines. It's successful. He made the wind to blow, it blows. He's successful. He made the water to flow, it flows. The water's successful. God loves success. Why? Because he's the king. And when things don't do what he said, they are misrepresenting his kingship. When God says, this is the way it is, this is the way you are supposed to be, and you say, well, I'm going to be a different way. You might be something, but a success ain't it. Now, the sun is pretty powerful. I mean, it keeps all of us warm and it shines light all around the world. And it does what God says. Water, the Hebrew word for water is ma'im, right? And the word water is spelled with a mem. And the letter mem represents the might of the ocean. Water is very powerful. What's more powerful than a tsunami? Not much. And yet, the water does what God tells it to do. And you think that it doesn't matter whether you do what he tells you to do. You're delusional. If I think it doesn't matter whether I do what he tells me to do, I'm delusional. I don't get to control this. You don't get to control that. That's God's job. Our job is to yield. And so, what's really interesting, God cares so much about success that not only did he create everything in 6 literal days with 6 literal mornings and evenings. I'm not going to capitulate to the whole each day is 1,000 years, blah, blah, blah. And it took God 6,000 years to create. I'm not going to do that. Why? Because it says in the evening and the morning. It didn't say and all those evenings, all those mornings. It said the evening and the morning. Each day had an evening, each day had a morning, so it's 6 literal days. God, he's God. He didn't even need 6 days. He could have done it in an instant. He's God. Let's don't be confused about it. Let's don't bring him down to our level. Okay? Well, success is so important to God that when he made man in his image, he gave man a book that teaches man how to succeed. What do I mean succeed? Do the thing for which you were created. Do the thing for which I was created. That's like why he gave us the Bible. He gave it to us so we can succeed. What does it mean to succeed? Do the thing you were created for. I said this before, I'll say it again. I think I may have said it last week, but that's okay, I'll say it again. Eventually somebody will get it. If I take my GLE 63 sitting out there in the parking lot, and I drive it home today, and I open the sunroof, and I park that thing right smack dab in the middle of my yard, and I fill it up with dirt, and I plant a palm tree in it, it'll be the most expensive flower pot maybe in the world, but it ain't successful. Why? It won't be doing the thing it was created for. And you might make a lot of money, you might have a lot of fame and a lot of notoriety and a whole bunch of followers and subscribers and all those other things that you get on the interwebs. But if you are not doing the thing for which you are created, you're not a success. You've wasted your life and played yourself. By the way, that's what the whole book of Ecclesiastes is about. The theme of the book of Ecclesiastes is this. If you live your life for a life under the sun, you've wasted your life and tortured yourself. That is the theme of the book of Ecclesiastes. Coming from the wisest, wealthiest man who ever lived. So, not only does God tell us that everything that he told to do something in Genesis chapter 1, it did it. But God gave us a blueprint for success in Genesis chapter 1. Y'all want to see it? It's like it's in there. And so I believe that Genesis chapter 1, if God didn't care about success, Genesis chapter 1 could have easily just been one verse. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Or maybe 2 verses. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And then verse 31, and God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. In the evening and the morning were the 6th day. He didn't have to go into all that detail about what he did on what day, and this happened next, and that happened, and this, that, and the third. He didn't have to do that. Why did he do that? Because God created 3 categories in creation. Y'all remember what they are, don't you? First category in creation is what? Creation. The sun, the moon, the stars, the grass, the trees, etc., etc., etc. God created creatures. The dogs, the cats, the alligators, the chickens, right? The kangaroos and the chimpanzees. Creatures. And then God created man, Adam, Aleph, Daled, Mem. God called their name Adam. So when I say God created man, I'm not talking about he created males. I'm talking about he created man, and God called their name Adam. God called their name man. Adam later called her name Eve. Okay, y'all tracking? Well, what's interesting about all of that, when God created creation, it's just the stuff. When he made the animals are behemah. What's behemah? Behemah is, in it is what it is. Oh, horses, oh, horses, oh, horses, of course. Okay, what does that mean? A horse can only do what a horse could do the first day a horse got here. A dog can only do what a dog could do the first day a dog got here. A chicken can only do what a chicken could do. Like, which came first, a chicken or an egg? It don't matter, because a chicken can only do what a chicken could do the first day a chicken got here. The chicken came first, by the way. Okay, the chicken came first. God created the chicken, and he created the chicken to lay the eggs. Okay, now, actually, God created creation, and then he delegated the manufacturing of the land animals to the land. And he delegated the manufacturing of the water animals and the air animals, the birds, the fish, and the fowl, to the waters. That's what it says. And God told the earth to bring forth cattle. But in is what it is. Now, these people who think God is the universe are confused. Because God is no more the universe than Elon Musk is a Tesla Model S. The universe was created by God. It's not God. God or the universe or whatever you want to call it. That's like saying Tesla or Elon Musk or whatever you want to call it. No, it's a car. It's pretty much not Elon Musk. There may be some people in here with Teslas, but you don't have an Elon Musk. So, he says, when he makes the animals can just do what the animals can do the first day the animals got here. But when he made man is Aleph, Dalet, Mem. I'm going to write it on the board because if we see it, we can understand it maybe a little bit better. Oh, now I'm spelling stuff wrong because I'm thinking about a different word. Okay, Aleph, Dalet, Mem. Now, Aleph is the letter that represents God. Dalet, Mem spells the word blood. And we know the life of the flesh is in the blood. So what is man? What is man? And when I say man, I'm talking about men and women. What are humans? They are a godlike creation with flesh and blood. That's what a man is. An animal is not that. An animal is just an animal. And what I mean by that is they're not made in the image of God. So God made us like him, but not him. You know one of the primary differences between us and God? Would y'all like to know one of the primary differences? Yeah. We can improve. God can't improve because he's already perfect. And a part of our job is to make sure the flesh and blood part of us is yielded to the God part of us. And the God part of us is yielded to God. That's the objective. Are y'all tracking? Yeah. Okay. So the first thing that God tells us about himself is not that he is love, even though he's love. Let that marinate. The first thing God tells us about God is not that he is holy, even though he's holy. The first thing that God tells us about God is not that he is just, even though he's just. The first thing God tells us about God is that he created the heaven and the earth. Now, when you read that, I don't know what your mind does, but mine starts asking questions. Like, okay, well, why would he do that? He doesn't need a heaven. He doesn't need an earth. He doesn't need anything. He's self-existent, self-sufficient, self-satisfied, needs nothing. Why are you going around creating heavens and earths and stuff? The only answer I've been able to come up with is because he is creative and therefore it is his nature to create. So God created the heaven and the earth as an expression of his creativity. His activity flowed out of his identity. Are y'all tracking? So when he made us like him, the first thing he told us about himself is that he created us to create stuff. Why? Because the first thing he told us about us is that he made us in his image and he made us after his likeness, which means he created us to create stuff and he made us to make stuff. This is game changer when you get it. You were created to create. You were made to make. That's why I have such a big problem with politicians and other forms of takers. Because you got basically two categories of people, you know. You got the makers and you got the takers. And the makers don't take and the takers don't make. right? Anyway, that's another conversation for a different day. So the first thing that God says to man about God is that he's created. The first thing he tells man about man is that he made us in his image. So every man, every woman in this room, under the sound of my voice, on the YouTube sphere, all of us were made in the image of God. Which means we were created to create stuff and we were made to make stuff. That's why you feel so fulfilled when you're operating in the area of your creativity. Because the God of the universe planted the seed of an aspect of his creativity inside of all of us. Like God put an aspect of the seed of his creativity inside of you, inside of me. And then he said, be fruitful and multiply, replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion. Wow. Be fruitful? That right there, if that was all he said, that's plenty. What is he saying? What is a fruit? A fruit is a living organism whose seed is in itself. So when he says be fruitful, here's what he's saying. You produce on the outside based on what I put on the inside. Correct. Make sure that somebody other than me can see what I put in you. Make sure it shows up all around you. That's your job. Be fruitful and multiply. What does multiply mean? Multiply means to increase. What's increase mean? More. Did I say it too fast? I mean, it's a one-syllable word, and I kind of rushed through it. More. Be fruitful, multiply, replenish. What's replenish mean? Fill up. Fill up the earth with the stuff, with the more that you create. It's so simple. All these people who think we're destroying the earth because we're using the creativity that God put inside of us to make stuff that makes our lives better, they are confused. The city of Tampa, the city of Miami, the city of Orlando, the city of Fort Myers, Atlanta, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Chicago, New York, Tokyo, all of those cities are as organic, that's so funny, organic as a beaver dam in a creek in the middle of the forest. They are as organic as an eagle's nest. They are as organic, and that's a tongue twister. Peter Piper picked a peck, pick a peck. Okay, they are as organic as an anthill. Yep. Why? Because here's the problem. When we look at something like a beaver dam that a beaver created in the middle of a creek somewhere out in the middle of some nowhere, and that beaver used their limited resourcefulness to make something that makes their lives better, we say that's organic. But when human beings use our unlimited creativity to create something to make our lives better and the lives of other people better, we say that's somehow inorganic. We are confused. Okay. So, God said, be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, subdue it. Why did he say subdue it? Subdue means to trample. I thought I was producing. I thought I was making stuff. I thought I was out here creating stuff. I thought I was filling up the earth. Now you want me to start stepping on stuff? Why? Because God knew something that we would later find out, and that is that disruption always follows intention. And so God, when he says subdue the earth, he's saying when you are creating and producing on the outside based on what I put in the inside, and as you're increasing and as you're filling up the earth, you are going to be faced with opposition. You're going to be faced with opposing forces. And when you face those opposing forces, stomp them. Yeah. Come on. Wow. Now, if he's telling me to stomp, trample, stomp, step on, trample, stomp, if he's telling me to do that, that tells me two things about every obstacle I will face. What are they? They are both beneath me and they are smaller than me. Yes. Now, how do I know disruption follows intention? God, only a God who has sovereign wisdom, who knows everything, would do this. Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. So, how do we succeed? Here's how we succeed. I'm going to start with number 2, because number 2 for us is number 1 for God. So, that's number 1 for us. I'm not going to tell you what that is yet. Okay, I'll give you number 2. It begins with intention. So, intention is number 1 for God. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. That's his intention. His intention was to create the heaven and the earth. Boom. Right? And then what happened? And the earth was without form and void and darkness upon the face of the deep. The word was is not the word used to be. The word was is the word became. The earth became without form and void and darkness upon the face of the deep. So the earth became without form and void. What does that show us? It shows us that disruption always follows intention. It doesn't matter what new good thing you set out to do. When you set out to do a new thing that is good, the first thing that you will face is often disruption. Andre, you ever have somebody come to the gym and they haven't worked out in 472 years, right? Right? And then they come and they think it's going to be an overnight process, and the very first workout, 30 seconds in, they feel like they're going to die. Right, okay? And then the next day, they can barely move, especially if they're working out with you, okay? I don't know. I've never worked out with you. I'm just kidding. But that's how it looks, okay? So disruption always follows intention. Do you realize if you're not in shape and you decide to get in shape, the day you start exercising is the day you start feeling worse. Guess when you feel worse than that? The next day. And then the day after that, you feel worse again. And worse stays there for a while. And then eventually, worse turns into better. That's how it works. It doesn't matter. You begin to learn a new skill. You say, I'm going to learn how to play a musical instrument. I'm going to learn how to speak a new language. The first thing that shows up is overwhelm and confusion. It's like, how does anybody know how to do this? Why? Because God has set it up in such a way that disruption always follows intention. Even if you just start doing something like eating right. You've been eating junk food your whole life, and all of a sudden you're going to start eating fruits and vegetables. Here's what you're going to feel. Terrible! Why are you going to feel terrible? You're going to feel terrible because your body is used to processing junk. It's not used to processing real food. And so you're going to feel worse before you can feel better. You start a business. You think you're going to start a business today and land a $4 million client tomorrow. Let me know how that works out for you. Because it certainly didn't work out that way for me. The first thing that shows up when you decide to do something good is something hard. Disruption always, everybody say always, always follows intention. It doesn't matter what new good thing you decide to do. The first thing that shows up is something hard. Okay, cool. So disruption follows intention. Now, the next thing it says, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of waters. Aren't you glad God showed us? Oh, by the way, disruption following intention. Don't think this was just happened for God. Don't think it just happened for you. Do you remember a guy named Joseph in the Bible? God gave him a what? He gave him a dream. That's right. God gave Joseph a dream. Joseph told his brothers and his mama and his daddy his dream. And they said, okay, I got something for your dream. I'm about to bring you some drama to go with that dream. Yeah. Y'all remember a dude named David, right? Yeah. Samuel anointed David to be the king of Israel in the presence of his brethren. Y'all remember that? Yeah. What happens next? Well, his brothers think that he's prideful, and King Saul spends years trying to kill him. Disruption always follows intention. You remember Jesus. Y'all remember Jesus, right? Okay. Just want to make sure y'all didn't forget him. Okay. He gets baptized by John the Baptist in Jordan. I've seen people get baptized in Jordan. I've been there at Jordan, seen people get baptized. It's amazing. But to see Jesus get baptized by John the Baptist, that would have been something. Because when Jesus got baptized by John the Baptist, the heavens opened. The Spirit descended on Jesus like a dove. A voice from heaven said, "This is my beloved Son in whom I am well pleased." You know what it says right after that? The next word is immediately. When? When? Somebody tell me when. Immediately. He was led of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. Disruption always follows intention. Don't be taken back by that. Don't be shocked by that. Don't be thrown off guard by that. Disruption always follows intention. And if you're not aware of the fact that disruption follows intention, when disruption follows your intention, you're going to conclude that you're going in the wrong direction, when actually the disruption that follows your intention is a sign you're going in the right direction. And then it says, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. Inspiration. Inspiration. And in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness upon the face of the deep. And God said, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. Do you know what happens when disruption follows our intention, we become discouraged. I know you've never been discouraged. I know you haven't, but I've been discouraged. Guess what I needed to do? While I was discouraged, I needed to find a source of inspiration to move. It's interesting that it says the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. Because did you know that your body is made of 70% water? Your brain is made of 90% water. The Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, let there be light. Oh my goodness, this is getting good. It's like a success formula in Genesis chapter 1. It's like God said, if you don't get to chapter 2, you're going to be all right. Just do the stuff in chapter 1. And guess what? He said, let there be light. Oh, illumination. What does illumination look like in our lives? It looks like learning something we didn't know before so we can see something we couldn't see before, so we can do something we couldn't do before. Like when you learn a new thing, what do you say? Oh, now I see. oh, now I see. And so the Bible it's the greatest success book ever. If you think about, oh yeah, man, we good. We got plenty of time. I was afraid I'm going to look at my clock. It's going to say it's 10:52, and I'm like, no, but it didn't say that. Okay, so we're good. It says, God said, let there be light, and there was light, and God saw the light that it was good. God saw the light that it was good. We could call number 6. We could call it appreciation. Or we could call it recognition. It's in the first chapter in the Bible. The first chapter. And then it says, and God said, and God saw that it was good. And then it says, and God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. Identification. Identification, clarification. Right? He said, okay, I'm going to give these things a name. So people can know that there's a difference between day and night. They ain't the same thing. You know what's really interesting? Like day represents good and night represents evil. But, so you say, why are you saying that? Because the very next thing it says in the evening and the morning were the first day. Doesn't that seem backwards to us? In the evening, you know why it seems backwards? Because post-biblical science was sun-centered. But the Hebrew calendar is moon-centered. Now, why does it say the evening and the morning were the first day? Because in God's economy, things go from dark to light, not from light to dark. Things go from bad to better, or from bad to good, not from good to bad in God's economy. And so the evening and the morning were the first day. When you start interacting with God, things get better. They don't get worse. And then it says, and the evening and the morning were the first day. Oh, this is one of my favorites. Number 8. Segmentation to completion. What does that mean? God didn't save any of day 1's work for day 2. Procrastination was not a part of creation. And the evening and the morning were the first day. God got all of day 1's work done on day 1. By the way, this is a project management formula for success. You got a whole bunch of projects, you work on one until it's done. And then you launch it. Do you realize if you got 5 different projects you're working on, and each one of them takes, let's say, 2 weeks to get done, and you work on all of them at the same time, and you get done with all 10 of them after 2 weeks worth of work, it's going to take you 10 weeks. It'll probably take longer than that because of all the distraction. But let's just say it takes you 10 weeks to get those 5 projects done because each of them takes 2 weeks. So now you're 10 weeks working and you got no money coming in. Watch this. If you work on one of those projects for 2 weeks, it starts bringing in money the third week. And then you started on another project, week 2, you start getting money from that one in the 4th week. So you're always going to be better off completing one task at a time. People think they're multitasking, and all they're doing is distracting themselves. This is not Myron's idea. I would not have come up with this. I would have been the guy, I'll do all of it at the same time. That would have been me. No, this ain't that. Like I like what Jim Rohn said. Wherever you are, be there. Right? Wherever you are, be there. God said, I don't save any of today's work for tomorrow. Man, when we do this, it will change our natural lives. And then it says, God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. Number 9, hydration. A lot of people aren't doing good because they're dehydrated. Now, for me, when I go out west, like I was out in California and I was in Las Vegas, everybody's, yeah, but it's so hot in Florida. It ain't this hot. Let's start with that. It's never been 100 degrees in Tampa in recorded history. Let's start with that. Yeah, but it's so humid. I know, I like some water in my air. You go out there to the desert, man, I'm drinking water all day long like a crazy person and still waking up in the middle of the night to drink more water. It just sucks all the water out of your body. Your brain is 90% water. Your body's 70% water. Most people don't drink anywhere near enough water. Your brain would function so much better if you just hydrate yourself. Okay. And God said, let the waters under heaven be gathered together, and let the dry land. God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters he called seas. And God said, let the earth bring forth grass, and herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding seed after his kind, whose seed is in itself. And the earth brought forth grass, and herb yielding seed after his kind, and yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the third day. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heavens, and let it divide the night. Let it divide the night, the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons, for days and for years, and let them be for lights in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth. And God made 2 great lights, a greater light to rule the day, a lesser light to rule the night. Okay, before I get into that one. Well, all of those are part of the same thing, which is number 10, delegation. I think that's how you spell it. Delegation. God said, now I'm going to make the And in fact, I'm going to make the moon and the sun rule over the day, the moon rule over the night. And actually, that would have been 11. So I'm going to make that 11. 10 is automation. What's automation? Automation is when you make something that you've made do something for you. And so he automated it so that the earth brought forth the grass and the earth brought forth the trees. Like, if we quit there, our lives are going to be more successful. Now, here's what's interesting. Remember I said number 1 for us, or number 2 for us is number 1 for God, because God doesn't need the first one. So all transformation, let's say your life isn't working exactly like you'd like it to. And in fact, let me finish reading this for you, because I don't want to skip it. So, verse 19, and the evening and the morning were the 4th day, and God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly moving creatures that hath life, and the fowl that it may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven. And God created the whales and every living creature that moveth, and the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good, and God blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and the water and fill the waters in the seas, and the fowl multiply in the earth. And the evening and the morning were the 5th day. And God said, let the earth bring forth living creatures after his kind, and the creeping thing and the beast. So we still see this automation and delegation thing happening. And then it says, and God made every beast of the field after his kind, verse 25, and every thing that creepeth upon the earth. And God saw that it was good. And then we get down to verse number 26. And it says, and God said, let us make man in our image. Did y'all notice something there? Let's make it. When God created man, he started talking different. God talked different when he made creatures than when he made creation. And then he talked even more different when he made man, creators. So God created creation, then creatures, then creators. Okay, when God made creation, he said, let there be light. Or let there be a firmament, let there be. When God created creatures, he said, let the earth bring forth. When God created man, he didn't say, let there be man, and he didn't say, let the earth bring forth man, and he didn't say, let the water bring forth man. What did he say? Let us make man in our image. I am not going to turn this one over to anybody else. It's too important. What is this one? This is duplication. I'm going to duplicate myself. I'm going to make someone who's not me, but like me. I remember when I was in elementary school, I was probably in second or third grade. And I came home because my mom would always say, "Would you learn in school today, baby? Would you learn in school today, baby?" Like every day. Okay. It's like, well, I learned today that man's a higher form of animal. She flipped out. She said, "Don't you ever say that again." But you asked me what I learned, right? She's like, "You're not an animal. You're made in the image of God." I'm like, "Yes, ma'am. Got it. Got it." There's a very big difference between humans and animals. We're not a higher form of animal. We're not an animal at all. We are made in the image of God. Let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. And God made man in his own image. In the image of God made he him, male and female created he them. And God blessed them. Them who? The male and the female. And God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion. I don't even have time to go into that. Because then we see the 4 levels of value. I don't even have time to go into the 4 levels of value. I've given you every herb bearing seed which is upon the face of the earth, and every tree in which is a fruit tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat, and to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life. I have given every green herb for meat, and it was so. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the 6th day. So this is a formula for success. It's also a formula for transformation. Well, what's the first one? Like, what is the first move in transformation? Awareness. See, we have to be made aware of all of these things. God is already aware. He's automatically aware. He's God. He's aware of everything. So he doesn't need to come into awareness so that he can set an intention. So, awareness, then intention, and like transformation. So if I want transformation, I need awareness, intention, decision, and then discipline. Discipline. Now I can change. Now I can change to install all of these principles into my experience of life. The Bible is the greatest success book ever written. I promise you. I promise you. If you're struggling to succeed, it's because, number one, you have not yielded to the purpose for which you were created. You're still resisting it. You're resisting the purpose for which you were created. Yeah, but I don't like that. I don't want to do that. How do you know? I got news for you now. What you resist persists, but what you embrace becomes grace. Embrace your purpose. Don't resist it. It'll change your life. The Bible is the greatest success book ever written. Why does God care about success so much? Because he is a king. And whether or not the things the king has created in his kingdom yield to him is going to reflect on his reputation as the king. And so it is our responsibility to adapt and adopt the principles of the Word of God, apply them to our lives, and be a light in a dark world, and show people how life could look if they would only yield to the king and follow the success principles of the Bible, especially those found in Genesis chapter 1, in case they don't get to chapter 2. I hope this blesses you. In the meantime, in between time, stay blessed by the best, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next video next week. Bye for now. All right, I'm going to be like Pharaoh and let